This is the post.
Okay.
We're live. Hello and welcome everyone to She's of Love. So today it will just be us two talking. Um,
Michelle's not well, so
yeah. So
we're going to reschedule her.
yeah, today we're talking about ancient connections, and I thought that this would be a really interesting topic to talk together because I don't know, there's just so much. It branches into so many things like ancestry,
That's
ancient
something you're really
history.
interested in.
Yeah, I'm low-key thinking about being an archaeologist because I just love ancient stuff so much.
But in Australia, because we've got a friend who's an archaeologist, it's all about Aboriginal artifacts here. So if you wanted that kind of like range of things, you'd have to probably go overseas for that.
Yeah, that's like the whole reason
Yeah.
why I would want to be an archaeologist to like travel overseas to those places. Yeah, like Peru and stuff. I'd love to go to Peru and the
But you know, you don't
Amazon.
need to be an archaeologist to go there.
No, I know that, but I want to go to study the sites.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do. Yeah. So, I thought we could start by talking about ancestors and also like ancestral trauma or ancestral connections.
Why are you so interested in it, do you reckon?
I don't know. I think I'm really, really, really amazed by the fact that something can be so old and hold so much story that we'll like never know about. Like, we don't know the people that walked around these places. Like, if we're taking a temple, for example. And also, I think we're just so used to, as a society, walking by buildings and being like, so, no, like it just being so normalized. But these buildings weren't built in the way that our buildings are, obviously. And I don't think we can really put it into perspective how these places were made. Like, there's a whole, temple slash pyramid in the Amazon rainforest. It's like it's way bigger than the um pyramid of Giza, and it's just like hidden under the forest. And it's got all this like it basically looks like a big hill because it's got all the trees growing out of it and everything. So no one discovered it for a long time because everyone just thought it was like a hill. But then I don't know how, but researchers came and I don't know the story, but it was discovered that this was actually
Man-made
a
structure.
man-made structure. And even like, I don't know, there was just all these temples that went like underground, not like deep, but just like went through the bottom of like the base of the building.
Hmm.
And then there was all these like the stairs to get up. It was actually taller. It was taller than the Great Pyramid of Giza, and you just had to, I don't know, I just think that it's crazy. Like, who were the people that built this? Why? Why are people building random things like that connect to the stars as well? Like Stonehenge, we don't know really why it was built because it has all these connections to like on the I think it's on one of the equinoxes or something, it lines up
I
with the sun.
I have a theory that these places like Stonehenge, they are energetic fields.
Mm,
They have an energetic signature in that spot, and that these structures amplify it.
yeah.
That's what I think. And then when you go there and worship there, or you do ceremonies there, or whatever, that it amplifies the effect.
Yeah. I think one of the really big reasons why I do want to study archaeology is to go, like a lot of archaeologists kind of enter the field or are in the field with a mindset that these people were primal and
Mm,
stupid, but I don't hold that
mm.
belief. And I want to go into it as if almost as if they're aliens and I'm like trying to discover like what is their intention, like why are they building this, for what reason, and connecting the dots because I think that they're smarter than
Oh,
where we
100%.
are today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's kind of missed in the field, or not really one perspective that many hold in scientific bubbles.
Mm.
So
Or
yeah,
circles.
or circles. Yeah, yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I don't
You
know.
gotta tell them what's going on with you.
I'm just really tired. I've worked late last night. And then I woke up early this morning,
Mm.
and I had a nightmare. Had a nightmare today or last night. So
Did it wake you up, that nightmare?
yeah, it did. Yeah,
So you fully woke up
yeah,
and went, what the hell was that?
yeah.
Because it
So
was about currents and getting caught in the currents and swimming across water that had strong currents and stuff, wasn't it?
yeah, it was about currents, and
Maybe it's you're feeling like you're being swept away in life.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not really down for an
Analysis.
analysis right now. I'm still overcoming the even realizing I had a dream. Oh, so yeah, I thought maybe because you have a bit more of I feel like you have a more stronger connection with your ancestors than me at the moment, at least.
Oh, that's interesting
Um,
because I'm adopted.
yeah, but I thought you could share if you wanted to, you don't
Hmm.
have to.
Hmm.
The story about the Aboriginals in the cave.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you cool?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So yes, friend of mine was doing um, a meditation ceremony with people connected around the world. I'm not 100% sure who joined, but it was all around the time of there was an event, an Aboriginal event that happened here in Australia to do with Ayers Rock, or the Aboriginal name is Uluru. And it was a couple of years ago now, and it was this really famous, it was all over social media. Everybody in Australia knew about it, and it was like loads of people went to Uluru, and they sat out, and they had this big ceremony, and everyone was kind of connected through this thing happening at Uluru. And a friend of mine was holding a meditation ceremony, and I joined in with her, and she took us to Ayers Rock, and I had a vision in my meditation that was beckoned over to the bottom of the rock by an Aboriginal man. And he was very thin, and he was wearing the traditional Aboriginal loincloth, and he had a staff. And I remember him standing there with his leg cocked up onto, so his left leg was cocked up onto his right knee. So his foot was touching his right knee like they do in, all those kind of like postcards and stuff. And he was waving me over like this, and he was saying, come, come. And so I went over to where he was standing, and then he didn't speak to me at all, but I could kind of communicate telepathically with him. I know that sounds weird, but it was like I knew he was leading me somewhere and he needed me to go with him. And so we went down.
Also, can I just preface this is in meditation?
Yeah, this was all happening
Yeah.
while we were meditating
Yeah.
in my mind. But it was clear as day, crystal clear. And he was crystal clear to me in my imagination, but he was very, very thin and old and very wise. And he felt like a gatekeeper to me, and it felt like I knew him.
Mm.
And I mean, I'd never seen him before in my life, but I felt a connection there. And anyway, so he beckoned me over to this place at the bottom of Uluru. Um, so it was where the land met the rock. And we walked closer and closer. And as we got closer, I realized that there was actually a cave in there. And that freaked me out because I was like, oh, and I have flown over Uluru, but I've never actually been there and I've never climbed on it or anything. So I had no idea what the landscape looked like close to the rock. I only know from pictures and flying over it. Anyway, so we went closer and then I saw this cave and he took me inside the cave and there was this woman inside who had white hair and she had a fire going.
And she was also Aboriginal?
Yes, but she wasn't. I don't know if she was from the same tribe because she looked completely different
Right.
to the man who took me there. But they went hand in hand together. They were doing this with me together. Anyway, so when I went in and I saw the cave and the fire and everything, they were standing in front of me and they handed me these scrolls that looked nothing like Aboriginal artifacts. Um, and when I opened the scroll to see what was on it, I couldn't read it. It was gibberish to me. It was like all these symbols and writing, and it was something I couldn't understand. And I got a little bit confused. I was like, oh, why am I getting these scrolls when I can't read them? But then I realized not through talking, there was no talking, it was all done through telepathy. I realized then that I didn't need to understand what was on the scrolls, that they were giving, it was almost like I was now the custodian of these
Mm,
scrolls. And it was all energetic. It wasn't real. It was happening inside my mind. It was all energetic. And it was the energy um, creating these images in me. And it was just this knowledge that now they were entrusting me with this information.
mm,
Um, and I can't say it was knowledge because it's not knowledge because I couldn't read it. It was information that now I'm part of. And once I understood that, then I started to back out of the cave and go away from them. And they stayed there and I left. And I came back into myself and into the room where I was. And that was my meditation to do with Uluru and everything that was going on. And it was, I don't know, it was it's one of the most vivid meditations I've ever had. And then I wrote to my friend because then the thing was over and everything was done and we disconnected from each other. And then I wrote to her and I told her what happened. And she said, that's so interesting because there are caves there.
yeah.
And I didn't know that because I have never been there. And I said, are you sure that there's caves there? She said, yeah, because I've been in them,
Oh, wow.
been inside.
Well, there's your evidence.
Yeah. So, um, and I still to this day, I cherish that, but I still to this day don't know why I was given these scrolls, but I don't think it really matters why.
Yeah, well, the reason why I bring it up is because I remember we were talking about it and you were mentioning that you felt an ancestral
Possibly, yes.
energy in it in some way.
Mm.
So, I think that,
I don't know if it was, see, the feeling that I get from these people, I don't think it's a direct connection of ancestry. I
mm,
think it's more of a universal ancestry
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that we have with each other.
yeah,
It's like maybe, in past lives we had traveled together or, there was a trust there. I felt the trust, but I didn't recognize them.
I think, yeah, I really believe that when we choose to tap into collective
Mm.
consciousness, everyone kind of is an ancestor in a way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But some closer than others, I
Yeah,
think.
of course.
Um, and what I've found in my journey and experiments and the experiences that I've had is that when I do group meditations,
It's so much stronger.
it's so much stronger. I can meditate on my own, but it's like I don't. It's not very strong, and it's a bit hazy, and I'm kind of floating around. Don't really know what I'm doing. But when I'm with at least one other person or multiple people, it's even better. The my imagination can really focus, and I really see images and
Mm.
visions and things like that. So, and it's always when I'm with others that it's really strong and I can really see the stuff.
Yeah, right. Wow.
And I also get, I can, I have had lucid dreams before, and I had them as a child and I didn't know what they were. They were like to the point where I would wake up from the dream and be holding my hands like this and looking to see if
It's real.
it's real. Like I still, because I was like, oh, I was holding something, and then of course there was nothing there. But I thought when I woke up that I was still holding it, like things like that.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I still, till this day, will have dreams that are so vivid.
I want to learn how to lucid dream because I've never been able to do it. When I'm in a dream, it's very real to me. Like
You're
what's
in it.
happening to me is what's happening to me. Like sometimes I'll wake up from a nightmare usually and I'll be so relieved because I was beyond convinced that it was real and it was like my worst nightmare happening. And then I'd wake up and I was like, oh,
Relief.
yeah. And then I'll go like, if it was about like, if it was about you guys, I'll go into your room and give you a hug or something. Because yeah, it really always does feel real. And then it happens the other way around sometimes. Like when a really good dream happens, I'll wake up and I would be really bummed out that it's not real. But I've never been able to distinguish in a dream that it's a dream.
I can sometimes control what's happening.
Yeah, I want to learn how to do that because I want to fly. I want to fly in my dreams. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to do it yet.
I think this is going to sound controversial, but my theory is because I don't dream nearly as much now as I used to,
Mm.
and I think it's Wi-Fi.
You think it's Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I think it interrupts sleep patterns. I
Yeah.
think the stronger the signal of Wi-Fi is, like in cities and stuff, it's harder to dream.
Mm.
Because when I was a kid, was all the time, and now it's maybe I don't know. I probably have those really, really vivid dreams about 3 times a year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm looking forward when I'm in my car to just be away from all that.
Mm,
Turn off my phone at night if I want to,
yeah,
just shut off completely.
yeah.
Yeah, I think also, actually, this is another point leading back to ancient connections. I think a really another very much overlooked thing when we talk about modern day society and the holes that it leaves within our souls, I guess, is about light pollution and not seeing the stars. I get so much joy at night just looking up at the stars. And that's even just here in Sydney, where definitely stars show up, but there's
Not as
like,
many.
it's very few and far between. And if it's a full moon, there's like maybe three stars out in the sky. It's only when it's like a new moon or like a small crescent where you'll actually see a good amount of stars. Well, I say that it's not even that many, but
More stars.
yeah, where you'll see more stars. But there was one time I was like out in the bush in the middle of nowhere and I got to see the stars at night and it was crazy. And I think it really does put things into perspective because you look up and you're like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot today that we're just
Floating
floating
around
around. Like, why am I so worried about all this stupid stuff?
like your little life.
Yeah. And I think that there was almost a design, of like, I don't know, it just seems like such a small thing, but to, block out the stars, but it's so not. And we
So
have to
what you're
manage.
saying is when you look at them, you're reminded,
Oh, sorry.
you're
Yeah.
right, you're reminded of how insignificant certain things are.
Yeah. And I think also we have to take into consideration that the stars are what the ancient people used for navigation,
Mm,
for
they're so
future
important.
telling,
Mm,
for like, oh, literally so much,
mm.
so much. It wasn't just those two things. I don't even know how to begin to get into that topic, but they use the stars for a lot spiritually, but then also a lot functionally.
Mm.
And the world would be very different without stars in the
And
sky.
I think the stars, like our sky now, is full of other things. Like there's satellites up there, and there's like someone
Oh,
posted a photo of a line of lights in the sky, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, what's this?" And they found out it was Starlink.
Starlink.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk's,
Oh, right.
and it
Oh,
was a line of, it was like a shooting star, but it was
no,
like lots of them.
I've got a point to this. So living in Byron Bay, you obviously see a lot more stars. And I in being in Sydney and growing up in Sydney, I knew satellites were out there, but we never saw them because the light pollution, I think, is way too strong to ever see satellites. So I've never seen satellites before. But in Byron Bay, you can.
And can see the difference.
Oh my, yeah. Oh, it's so easy because it's just a light that moves like in a very straight line across the sky.
Yeah, right.
And as much as I do believe in UFOs and as much as I do want to see UFOs, I could tell that that was not a UFO. Although I was also thinking simultaneously, if there was an alien and they were studying Earth, which most likely there is, that if I was an alien, I would pretend to be a satellite,
To be
observe.
to be camouflaged.
Yeah, yeah, like it would be so easy. You just program your ship to move in a straight line across the sky and no one would know if you just did it slow enough. But I saw satellites. It was like a normal thing. Like every time I looked up to the stars and I, you know, was thinking I was looking for more than 10 seconds. And like was focusing on what was going on. I could see one every 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Mm.
Are you kidding? I didn't know there was that many up there.
Oh,
Because in
loads.
because here you don't see it. You don't see it at all. And I think that's another really big, um, another really big, I guess. I don't, I don't know. I just think that it's interesting that they make the lights of satellites dim enough so you can't see it with a lot of light with light pollution
I think that's
to inconspicuously go by because I think if we really realized how much was up there.
but that's why when people say they've seen something that they think is a UFO, nobody believes them because nobody ever sees
Yeah,
them.
but
And it's only like
that's
one
not
or two.
that's not always accurate though
What do you
because
mean?
I think people are really waking up to it now.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm Gen X, so like I grew up with the skepticism around it.
Mm.
I mean, you're a different generation and you have a completely different experience to what I've had. I mean, when you were younger and you used to come to me with these conspiracy theories, and I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" It's because everybody was a skeptic back in the 70s and 80s. Everyone was a skeptic. Like if you believed in UFOs, people would laugh at you.
that was still that was still very much a thing.
Yeah, but so much worse.
Yeah, okay.
on steroids. I'm talking like, my peer group. It was like, what do like that's ridiculous. But in talking about UFOs, there's a guy at work who I work with who told me a story. He used to be in the Navy and he was on a mission. Where, and they missions and like sometimes and like just benign. They're not like war missions and things like that. Like they go out there and they find, um, you know, ships that are abandoned and like they do patrols and that like it's the routine stuff. And he was the lookout that night. And
I'm so excited for this story.
and this is from the horse's mouth. This is the guy who saw it with his own eyes. Um, and they were somewhere very remote, like Antarctica, somewhere
Oh my God. I
really
would love to
remote.
go to Antarctica. Sorry,
And
continue.
he was, this is what's reminding me of the story because he was talking about the stars and how light pollution blocks out a lot of stars and we don't see, like he was talking about the beauty of the
Yeah,
sky.
it's literally insane.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's there and he was like really tired and he was starting because it was towards the end of his shift and he was like, oh, looking at his watch going, what time am I off? Sort of thing. And then when he looked up, he saw this cluster of lights in the sky moving in a really weird pattern. And they were like coming together and they were moving and then they would come apart and then they would disappear and then they would come back. And he said it was like nothing he's ever seen before in his life. And he was rubbing his eyes because he was tired and he was thinking, I'm imagining this. But there were more guys on the deck of the ship and he radios to them and goes, are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Because if it was just him seeing it, that's one thing, right? The doubt can creep in. There's 5 guys on the deck and he's radioing to them going, did you guys see this? And he said it was going on for a good 30 seconds, like
Ooh,
enough time to really see it. And they're all going, yes, we see it. We saw that. And he's like telling me the story. And he was like, Claudia, if it was just me who saw it, like that's crazy.
I would still believe him.
Yes, I would too. But he's like,
I'm so
you
gullible when it comes to this stuff.
doubt comes in because you're the only one who saw it. Nobody else saw it. And so you kind of like, but did it really happen? Everybody saw it.
I love a good UFO story.
And he said to me, because I was like, oh, because he's a guy
Yeah, yeah.
and he used to be in the Navy, so he's a guy's guy. And I said to him, you were a skeptic, because I'm not a skeptic anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, you were a skeptic. And he said, yeah. And I said, are you a believer now? And he said, absolutely.
I really want to see a UFO of friendly aliens.
So things like that, like pilots, like I would love, maybe, oh, I don't know if he'd come on. He's a bit shy, but I would love to have him come on and talk about it. Or pilot who had seen something, maybe we should try and get people on who've seen things that can't be
Yeah.
explained.
Well, before we go, because we're coming up to time, but before we go, I actually at the bar that I work at, these two NASA workers, I don't know,
They work for NASA,
astrologists. I no,
astronomers.
yeah, physicists
Okay.
actually. They work for NASA, I believe, and they came into the bar, and I'd seen them months and months and months ago, and they came in again, and of course I remembered them because I grew up wanting to be an astrophysicist. So I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Because I developed this like thing over time. I think once you've been awake after a few years, you kind of just filter out, okay, yeah, these are interesting people. Yes, okay, sure, they will believe a lot of different things to me, but I'm still interested. So I'm going to forget about everything else and I'm just going to ask what I'm interested in and find that
Opens your
common,
mind in a different way.
yeah, and you find the common ground with people. And so that's what I was doing again with these people, and I was asking them questions. And at this point, the um the news recently came out about the US government admitting to UFOs, and so I'm like, what do you guys think about it? Like, and then we started talking about aliens, and while I was talking to them, a really good point came up. They had really good points as well. They were saying, things like, I don't if there were aliens, like why would they come here? Like, of course I believe in aliens, but why would they be here? We're not interesting. And I was like, we are so interesting.
That's not true.
We are so interesting. Like, when you think about it, humans are so weird. But anyway, I was like, then we started talking about, do they have good intentions? Do they have bad intentions? And this like snap in my brain realization happened, and it was so profound. And I realized they I know that they are good because, well, maybe not all of them, but I know a lot of aliens have to be good because they are so much further ahead than us humans, right? They've gone through the wars, they've gone through what we're going through now, and they've gone beyond to the point where they can do interstellar like travel and travel to different galaxies and different, who knows, different star systems. They had to survive
All of that.
all that time. And you cannot survive doing war over war over war over war. I mean, maybe you can, but I doubt it.
Well, they did.
No, but what I'm saying is, after so long, they surely had to develop a peaceful mindset where they've gone beyond what humans are now of this conflict, constant conflict, and they've found a place where they
I don't know if you're talking about all aliens or just
no,
some of
just
them.
no, not all of them, but I'm saying a lot of them had to get to a point in their society where they are at peace
Mm,
so they can live long and they can nourish their planet and keep it healthy over to survive to the point where they are now. Like,
mm.
you can't, I truly don't think that your chances are so much less if your civilization is going against each other over and over, war and war and war and destruction. I feel like eventually it's just gonna, you know, to really get longevity, you have to be in a peaceful place.
Mm. Well, I'm interested in what you guys have to say. If
Mm.
you've had an experience with seeing something, or
Yes,
if
we
you know
haven't.
someone, or if you've got a story.
Mum doesn't believe me. Mum
No,
disagrees.
no, it's not that.
I'm not saying all
I don't
aliens.
think I think there's a myriad
Yeah,
of possibilities out there. I think the universe is so vast that there will be peaceful
I'm
planets, there will be war planets, there will be evil
yeah, but
ones,
what
there'll be
I'm
peaceful
talking
ones,
about,
good ones.
I'm talking about the ones that are like flying over our and all the UFOs.
No, I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think there are nefarious ones who are doing deals with people on Earth.
I don't know.
Mm.
Well,
And just because we can't see them and we don't know that they're there doesn't mean that they're not there. Because
I think that
there are prominent people who've made some decisions in the past, and things have leaked out about why they made certain decisions because pressure was put on them
yeah, but
and
I'm not
threats were
talking
made.
about ones that are already here. I'm talking about the ones that are flying around.
Yeah, I think there's a whole myriad of different ones.
Okay.
I think that
We're just gonna have to
there's
disagree.
peaceful ones. I think it's like a smorgasbord out there, and because the universe is so big, it between us and the next one is probably 1,000 light years
Yeah.
because it's so vast. And I think they are a more intelligent species because they can, like, obviously, if we're seeing them in our night sky, they can come to us. We might have technology that can go to them and we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So we don't know because it's so many lies, so many secrets, so many things that we don't understand
This is why
and not being
I
told to
want to
us.
be an FBI agent or like head of security or whatever, so then I could just know everything and then leak it
I
out.
was talking to someone, was it you? We were talking about like if we understood everything, like that our perception can only pick up
1%.
1% of reality, like
It's
our vision
1%
and our
of it's
senses, and
1% of light.
yeah, right, of light,
Yeah, out of
which
the
is
light
what
spectrum.
we consider reality.
Yeah,
Is what we see. We can only see 1%.
of light, yeah.
Yeah, so there's 99% of stuff that we don't see that
Literally going
exists.
on right in front of you.
Mm,
So good luck going to sleep with that information.
yeah.
Not, I honestly
Yeah,
cannot
if we
believe
could
that.
see it and if we knew, our brains would explode.
Yeah,
That's how much,
we would just die
because there's
from
so much in
overwhelm.
1%. I mean, look at the world around us. Like
And
there's
that's
so much
only
in 1%.
1%.
Yeah,
Auroras going in the sky, northern, southern lights, 1%. Mountains, 1%.
yeah.
The light bulbs,
Each other,
each
1%.
other, 1%.
So
And some
there
people
are,
can see auras and things like that. Ooh, I don't want to know. I don't ever want to see. This is enough. This is enough. This is enough. I'll see more when I'm in another form. I'm happy for that in my human
yeah, so
brain.
it just go like that. What that says to me, what that does to my brain is like that multiverse is real, because we just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. So it's like,
Mm.
I could have another person, another me here, and another me here, and another me here. I just can't see them.
Ew, don't say that. Ugh. I just find that so trippy. I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But that's the thing. We can't see it. So doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's not there.
Okay. Well,
We'll leave you with
that's
that
time.
little
Yeah.
tidbit.
Good luck, honestly. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Mm,
We'll see you next week, hopefully
yes.
with a guest this time.
Yeah, a couple of weeks in a row of
Yeah, it's fine. It's how
these
the
things happen
yeah.
and we adapt.
Well, we hope you all have a beautiful week and we'll see you soon.
Mwah.
Mwah.